affordable tattoo products, all from Amazon. I'm actually in time for a breather. Let's get in the video. If you've been around a while, you notice your girl's been looking a little differently these days, and it is because I have begun my tattoo journey. I now have 6 separate tattoos. Mine don't connect at all, and I have been through the trials, the tribulations of not only getting the tattoo, but also maintaining the tattoo. So let's get into these products. Firstly, let's start with day of, right? We are talking about you're going into your tattoo, whether it's your first tattoo or your 20th tattoo, it doesn't matter. Should be the same every single time. Starting out, you need to make sure you are going to bring yourself some water, okay? Make sure to bring water with you. Make sure to bring a lot of water with you if you are doing a very long session. Your body needs to be continuously hydrated to actually start the process of healing as you're getting your tattoo done. Your body isn't waiting for your tattoo to be over before it starts healing. It's doing it right then and there, and it needs water in order to do that. So I love me a Brita bottle, especially if you're gonna need to refill your bottle at some point in time. This one has a filter on it already, so even if you're getting water from the nasty bathroom at the tattoo shop, this one's gonna filter it out for you. Love it because it's plastic, it's see-through, you can see how much water you're getting. Just make sure whatever way you have to, stay hydrated prior, during, and then after your tattoo. Also, make sure you have some snacks with you if you are going into either a long session or if you are going in and getting either your first tattoo, your first big tattoo. Sometimes if you're anxious or your body is just overly stressed, your blood sugar can drop and you can faint because of it, okay? Make sure to have snacks on hand with you. I personally love these Simply protein bars. They are my favorite protein bar because they don't have like the most amount of sugar in the world, so I'm not gonna get like a sugar high or a sugar headache. So you want to make sure to have something on hand that is going to fuel you up, has at least some simple sugars in it to make sure if your blood sugar does drop, you can get it up decently easy without making it go over the top. Now this one is particular to if you are getting specifically a hip tattoo or like a lower stomach tattoo. You need to obviously make sure the artist can get to that area easily without having to like move around really bulky clothing. So make sure you have on either like a very thin thong. These ones specifically are my personal favorite. They are very comfortable. They are also part of my basics Amazon haul if you saw that. These are just the best thong out there by far. Next up, I would definitely recommend getting a string bikini that actually ties on the side. If your artist needs to get access to a large portion of that area and doesn't want to have to like consistently be moving around the side of a thong or underwear, they can just untie it and actually tape it to the side of you, because most artists will have like some sort of like medical or skin grade tape on them in order to help them out, because they don't want to be moving stuff around either. So get yourself some either like thin stretchy thongs, or if you want to go to the other end and get like a string bikini, just make sure it fully unties on the side. Next up, if you are going to be in a long session, even if you're sitting up, a lot of artists, especially artists that are starting out, don't have like really comfy chairs or anything. They just essentially have like a massage table. Make sure to get a neck pillow to take with you. Just one of your general travel wraparound neck pillows. It is going to save your neck, save your back. Even if you're there for like an hour, it really does start to add up. When you're in one singular position, try not to move as much as you can. Make sure you are comfortable. So just get yourself a neck pillow. I love this one. Super squishy. Definitely something that you need to bring with you to actually save your body. That way you don't come out of the shop feeling like a 60-year-old person because your joints are so stiff because they've been locked in a really uncomfortable position. Speaking of pillows, next up, this one is in particular if you are getting a tattoo in which you will be lying on your side for a very long amount of time. Get yourself an specifically in between leg pillow. This is again because you want to make sure you are in a very comfortable position if you are going to be in it for a long time. Or honestly, even if you're not going to be in it for that long of a time, you're already worrying about being uncomfortable because you're getting a needle stabbed into you again and again and again. You don't want like an additional layer of discomfort. So in between leg pillow, it really saves your hips from becoming super sore, or even your knees, because a lot of times when your knees are together for too long, if you get them at the like wrong point, it'll actually start to make your knees sore as well. So people, just save your joints, spend the few extra dollars. If you are getting a tattoo, you already are going to be uncomfortable. So just make sure you're giving yourself the ability to actually be as comfortable in other ways as possible. If you love this video, then please show me some love by clicking that subscribe button. Not only does it make sure you get more of the content you enjoy, it does help keep my dream alive. It takes a lot of time and effort to bring you a video every single week. So thank you so much for your support. Back to the video. Next up, let's talk about aftercare, right? You got your lovely tattoo, you're so happy, now you're at home the next few days. What do? Now, of course, your tattoo artist should be giving you care maintenance instructions, but a lot of times it's just like, hey, gently wash the area with some like unscented soap. Make sure to keep it out of sun, that type of stuff. However, in order to actually do that, I personally, also as a licensed esthetician, would highly recommend this Dial bar soap. It is very, very mild, though it is also antibacterial, because when your skin is literally opened and a large portion of it is opened, if you have a very large tattoo done, you want to make sure little gross bacteria are not getting in there and causing issues, right? So this is like a really mild soap. It's not really gonna set you back very far. You can use it for other things when you're done, right? This is not HIPAA. Do not use that on the daily. That is not what that is for. Make sure you're cleaning the area effectively. Personally, in the first week, I wash my tattoo twice a day with this soap, and then a week after, I do it once a day, and then after that, I just kind of go back to what I was doing prior. Once you're in like the peeling, flaking off phase, sometimes just like rubbing your hand over the area with soap and water doesn't really get off enough to a point where when I go to apply my lotion, I'm still getting like black flakies, but you should not be actually exfoliating that area, okay? Let your body do what it needs to do. However, if that skin's gonna fall off 2 seconds later when I'm trying to actually apply my moisturizer, I don't want a whole lot of like black bits all over, so I just use very, very gently these Microfiber Clothes. You're not in there scrubbing, okay? That's not what you're doing. You're just like going in there and like loosely, almost barely just touching your skin with soap and water on this cloth, just to remove stuff that's already ready to jump ship. Just make sure you do not press hard. Again, you're not really exfoliating hard this area. That's not what this is for. It's just to make sure the stuff that's already gonna slough off actually gets off. Which, speaking of protection, if you are going out in the sun at all, especially within the first week, you need to keep this out of the sun. Your tattoo should not be seeing any lick of sun at all. I personally don't really want to put sunscreen on that much open skin. That is really going to be absorbed differently, because especially if it's chemical sunscreens, because in order for them to work, they need to absorb into your skin, have a reaction in order to give you the product that is sun protection. So on broken skin, might not work that well. Also, in that much broken skin, I would not be putting many things on it at all. So next up, I personally used Boleros, which, if you didn't know, are these like, you see them on dancers a lot for some reason. They're just like essentially very mini cardigans, just like sleeves, just to make sure you stay covered, especially out in the sun, if you especially don't want to wear sunscreen. I love these things. I honestly started using these on the daily in the summer just because I don't like the feeling of sunscreen on my skin a lot, especially if I'm going outside just for like an hour. I don't want to like slather on sunscreen all over my body just for an hour. I'll just pop this on and pop it off when I get back inside. No big deal. And this 4-pack, they're nice colors, they're pretty loose, and they have thumb holes, which I am definitely a fan of. And speaking of sun protection, especially in the later days after your tattoo, if you are looking at putting on sunscreen, I would highly, highly recommend putting on mineral sunscreen and not chemical sunscreen, for the reasons that I just explained. But also, mineral sunscreen just sets on top of your skin. Other parts of the actual lotion will absorb into your skin, but specifically not the sunscreen at all, right? That way, it's just sitting on top of your skin and you can wipe it off at the end of the day, and you can actually see how much sun protection you're getting, because honestly, most mineral sunscreens should be leaving a white cast. If you don't have a white cast after applying mineral sunscreen to your tattoos, you have not put enough on. That means not enough of that mineral is there to actually defend against the actual sun rays, so make sure you're putting enough on. I personally like this one, especially because it's a sport one, so it's a little bit sweat resistant, because especially in the summer, I'm a sweaty girl. I don't want to be worrying about it like dripping off of me 2 seconds after I've applied it, right? Talking about moisturizing, I love my Simple Rich moisturizer. This is actually my nighttime moisturizer for my face, but it is unscented. It is very, very gentle, very mild. Doesn't really leave like the sticky type of feeling that a lot of like thicker moisturizers do. This one I can tell is actually like somewhat setting into my skin, but also leaving behind a nice barrier protection, because again, you want your body to be functioning optimally when it's trying to heal. So having super dried out skin really isn't gonna get you there. And you definitely don't want any sort of like infection to come about if your skin starts cracking and bleeding or anything. So make sure, keep the area moisturized. This simple moisturizer is definitely way, way more affordable than a lot of like other unscented ones out there, but also moisturizes. It doesn't just set on top of the skin. It definitely sinks in, helps your body just keep things rocking and rolling as it should. That way it can get healed quickly, so you can go about regular life once it's fully healed. You don't want it to be staying in that like peely, scabby state for any longer than you need to be. You want to be off doing everything with your pretty, your cool looking tattoos, living your life. You don't want to worry about like excessive scabbing or anything like that just because of dry skin. Next up, let's talk about pain care. We need some cold packs, right? I personally like cold packs, especially right when I get home, the few days after, the week after, sometimes even like a few weeks after, if I'm still scabbing and I'm getting in that like itching. Obviously you don't want to be itching your tattoo at all. Don't want to really be touching it, period, unless it's to clean it, right? So get yourself some ice packs. Any ice packs will do, honestly. Just make sure, firstly, you are not getting your tattoo wet with your ice pack. Meaning, if it's the type of ice pack that's like maybe like a lunchbox ice pack, make sure to wrap it in like a washcloth or a towel or something before putting it on your skin, because you don't want wet to be setting on your skin for too long. If your ice pack starts to sweat, you don't want it to be constantly absorbing that moisture into your tattoo. You want to avoid that, right? But also, you want a little bit of barrier protection from the ice pack. Don't be the fool who burns themselves because they left a freezing cold ice pack on very immature, broken skin. Your skin's already having issues. You don't want to be adding to those issues by burning yourself with a super cold ice pack. So again, make sure you're wrapping it in a towel, or if you want to put it on top of your clothing or something, just make sure not to just slap on a regular ice pack. When it comes to coming home, your skin is very inflamed, obviously. It's really sore. Put an ice pack on just for your comfort. Just make sure you're setting it over and over on your skin, not rubbing it, right? You don't want to irritate the skin any more than you have to. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. If you want to see another one of my Amazon shopping hauls, then just click the link here and I'll catch you next time. Bye.